Okay, we are WT, World Taekwondo, and USA Taekwondo data and facts. And so today we're only going to talk about points and the Olympics. And I'm going to ask Don, Mr. Statistician, Taekwondo man, the expert, some questions because, you know, I kind of got the gist of it, but even I get totally confused with all the points, the systems, the USAT points versus WT points. What do you need? How to strategize, you know, your game for succeeding and getting to the Olympics. So that's what we're going to focus on today. Okay, Don?
That sounds excellent. And I have to say, you know, that I also get confused at times and I have to refer to the rules, World Taekwondo and USAT rules about points, just to refresh the memory because it's very complicated. And just recently I got very politely schooled by CJ Nicholas's mom, Denise, because I forgot to subtract some 2019 points from one of his competitors. So anyway, thank you very much for that and keep me honest. I like the fact checking sometimes.
No, it's always good.
It's always good.
It's always good. But, you know, sometimes a little ego gets hurt.
I know.
Okay, so first question I'm going to start with are what are points and how to earn them?
Okay.
What are the categories of points?
Exactly. That's a great question because everybody's inundated with points and there's different points. There's at least 3 different point systems that impact us here in America. And the 2 main ones are World Taekwondo, and I'll explain in a moment how they generate points for us. And also USAT has their own completely independent point system that they use for certain things. In the past, there was point races in the USAT where, you know, the top point person might go to Worlds, but this year that didn't happen. It's a totally different system. So you have to keep up to date on this. So World Taekwondo gives out points for people who win matches and events around the world at their G events, the G events.
G events means grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. So I'm just saying, some people don't know that.
Yes, and so
we can assume. Let's
say what kind of G events there are. So for regular G events, there's G1 and G2.
And what's the difference?
The difference is that if you win a gold medal at a G2, you get 20 points, 2 times 10. Versus
so
at a
G1 is 10.
10 points if you win a gold medal. And then, so here it gets arithmetic challenging. Silver gets 60% of that, so 6 points in a G1, 12 in a G2. Bronze gets 60% of what silver got, so that's, what's that, 3.6 at a G1 and 7.2 at a G2. And it continues going down, you know, 60%, you know, blah, 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 reducing your points. So, and at a G1 and G2, you have to win a match. You can't just show up and then, oh, I lost my first match. Well, unfortunately, that means you didn't get any points. So that's where it's risky and expensive to go to these G events around the world. You know, unfortunately, there are even people that we're aware of who go to many G events and hardly enter any points because they don't win matches.
Okay, let's stay on target.
All right.
We don't want this to be a long...
There's also G4, like the Pan Am Games are G4. G6, which are the World Taekwondo Grand Prix events. And then we can jump all the way up to G10 for the event that just happened, the Manchester Grand Prix final.
Right.
And the other 2 events, there's only 2 more events. Worlds are G14.
And Olympics.
And Olympics are G20.
G20. That's 200 points for gold.
Those are the G events. And so the way World Taekwondo does this is there's a 4-year cycle for each Olympic period. So we're nearing the end of this current Olympic cycle because the Olympics are next year in Paris. And so it's your points you accumulate over those 4 years. However, on the anniversary, 1-year anniversary of you earning points, let's say you won...
We're talking WT points.
World Taekwondo points.
Right now, we're not talking USAT points yet.
No.
So we're still in the WT point category.
Right.
Okay.
So on the 1-year anniversary, so let's say last year, someone went to Guadalajara Worlds and won gold, like Michaela Greenwood did. She loses 35 points in December. It was in November last year. So in December 1, the December rankings, she lost another 35 points because that was 25% of 140. So you know, points go away too, 25% a year. And so right now, points you got in 2019 are vanishing during this year. That's how points.
Okay, so that's WT points.
Want me to talk about USAT points?
And well, yes, and then from there I want to go into, so how does an athlete get to the Olympics?
Okay.
With their country's point system, the World Taekwondo point system, mushing together.
Right.
Mush.
Mush. Mush.
And then, how can athletes and coaches, learn this system maybe even better, and we can help them maybe strategize by understanding the system a little better. Okay. So let's, is that it for the WT point system right now?
For the moment, until we talk about the Olympics.
Okay, sorry, so let's talk about USA Taekwondo, their point system, and how that goes into the WT points.
Okay.
All right.
So USAT has their own, like I said before, completely independent point system, and this is where a lot of people probably get confused. People who go to clubs and oh, I got USAT points. I won my state. Maybe that gives me a world ranking. Unfortunately, no. USAT points are irrelevant, unfortunately, for World Taekwondo rankings, with one exception, and that is the US Open. The US Open appears both in World Taekwondo points and USAT points. So you can earn points from the US Open, which is the most difficult tournament in the United States, that count towards either system. So you can funnel into both by doing well at the US Open. And if you do well at the US Open, you are a great athlete.
Well, it's a G2 event.
It's a G2 World
so it's
Taekwondo
20
event.
points for gold,
yeah,
and 60% less for silver.
Right. And I want to point out something else, that there's also different age categories in Taekwondo, cadets, juniors, and seniors in particular. And people have asked, oh, my cadet won gold at the US Open. Does that count towards World Taekwondo points? No. Cadet points, no matter what it is, including World Championships, do not count towards World Taekwondo points. However, juniors, if you're in your last year of juniors, which means you're turning 17, let's say in 2023, if you won points in a senior junior event, like let's say there was World Juniors or Pan Am Championship for juniors, those points would actually count towards seniors. But only if you're a 17-year-old junior who goes to Worlds or a Continental Championship.
Oh, we're talking USAT points.
No, those are World Taekwondo points.
Yeah, be specific.
I'm sorry.
Because we were on the USAT point system right now.
Yes, and I jumped. I did.
So say that again and clarify.
Yes. Juniors can earn WT points if they turn 17 in the year they go and win points at, win a medal at World Championships or Pan American Championships.
Yeah, but those are WT points.
Those are WT points.
Okay.
Yes.
So now we're back onto the USAT points.
Right. Back to USAT points.
Okay.
USAT does not give points this year for G events other than the US Open.
Okay.
They give points for states.
States.
This year, the Grand Slams.
They're Grand Prix. They call them Grand Prix.
Grand Prix, sorry.
It's very confusing. I wish they would change the name.
I wish they wouldn't call them Grand anything.
Yeah.
Like next year, they're changing it to regionals. Just
I like that better.
Get away from the confusion.
Yeah, because it's so confusing.
We won Grand Prix. I'm gonna get.
But it's a USA Grand Prix,
yeah,
which no points go towards WT. So okay, so they have to win a medal. Is it gold and silver, or is it bronze too?
To do what?
To go to nationals.
Oh.
To get points to go to nationals.
To nationals this year, it was a gold medal at states or attending a Grand Prix. Next year, it's gold and silver at a state. It's adapted.
Okay,
gold and silver at a state or going to a regional.
Which they used to call Grand Prix.
Yes.
Last year. Okay.
And they've already announced the regionals for the West and East. I'm not sure about Central for next year.
Where are they at? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay. We should post that. Somebody should post that.
Yeah, let's get on that.
Yeah, well, you got to schedule your year. Traveling is expensive.
So you want to know how you go to the Olympics?
Yes. Okay. we already answered the question, do USAT points count towards world ranking? Only US Open points do. Otherwise, no. Okay, how do points get you into the Olympics?
Okay.
Yes.
So this Olympic cycle, World Taekwondo released 2024 for Paris. This is not 2028 Los Angeles. 2024 Paris. World Taekwondo's rules are, if you are in the top 5 Olympic ranking,
not world ranking.
Not world ranking. Gets more
Olympic
confusing.
ranking.
Olympic ranking, which is only 4 for both females and males. F49, F minus 67, 57, minus 67, and plus 67. Those are the women, and there's equivalent ones for the men. 4 of each. The top 5 qualify automatically.
For each weight class?
Yes, in each weight class. Qualify a quota place, a quota spot for the country. The U.S. has guaranteed that if somebody is in the top 5, they're not going to be displaced. They're going to go to the Olympics. So that means CJ. He's the only American in the top 5.
That falls in that category.
He is number 2 at year end. Way to go, CJ.
Yeah, CJ.
We'll talk more about year accomplishments in our year end podcast. Yep. This is going to be fun and different than this.
Yes.
Okay.
We're sticking to points right now.
The only way somebody could have had a fight off with CJ is if they got into the top 20 Olympic rankings during 2023. And there's one guy who almost did it. Michael Rodriguez.
Michael Rodriguez.
Is 21st.
He was 21st.
In November and December, and January is not going to change. And so he just missed it. There's not going to be a fight off. It's just CJ. Good luck. Better luck next time, Michael Rodriguez. So top 5 get a spot, a quota spot.
Okay.
There's also an event called the Grand Slam, which has got 2 events this year.
Wuxi.
In Wuxi. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I don't know.
Wuxi.
China.
There's one in about April. There's one coming up next week where the person who gets the most points from those 2 events gets a spot in the Olympics. Bang, just like that.
Loophole.
Forget about 4 years and, 40 different tournaments or more. No, 2 tournaments.
Yeah.
Champion goes to the Olympics. So that's the Grand Slam.
And why does China have this opportunity to have this tournament?
Because they paid for it.
Paid who?
They paid World Taekwondo a few years ago. I think it was $30 million. Plus they built a arena specifically for this with all kinds of fancy camera work and everything. And they would give prize money, bigger prize money, much bigger prize money than World Taekwondo gives out. And so the deal was, we'll put on this big event, give the athletes and coaches money, and we'll even pay for some of them to fly there, and we'll invite some to come. And by the way, you get a spot in the Olympics if you win overall.
Even if you're not
in each weight class.
Even if you're not in the top 5.
No, you could be 100th. So that's probably not going to happen, but that's what's going on. So that's the second way.
Okay.
The other way is
how else do you get in?
Through what's called continental qualification tournaments.
Continental qualification tournaments. For example, what would be a continental qualification?
Pan America.
Pan America.
Pan America is a continental unit in
so
World
what are the
Taekwondo.
5 unions? So we got Pan Am.
Pan Am, Africa, Europe, Asia, and Oceania.
Oceania.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So you'd have to win one of those, like our Pan Am Games?
Oh, hold on. So you have to get to the Pan Am qualification tournament.
Okay. How do you do that?
Okay. So each country can nominate up to, 2 male and 2 female athletes to go to the continental tournament. But that's only if they haven't got top 5 athletes who have already qualified. So in America's case, CJ has qualified, which means the men only get 1 more division, either 58, 68, or plus 80. USAT will make that decision as to which one of those is the division they want to go to the continental tournament. And then they've also said that January 5th, this coming year, will be the fight-off for people who qualify to get into that fight-off. So that's what's happening today, actually.
Yep.
USA Today,
Deciding today.
we've heard, is meeting, a selection committee of 6 people is meeting to decide which divisions, the 1 male and 2 female divisions, that the U.S. will send 1 athlete to the Continental Qualification Tournament. The people at the qualification tournament who win gold and silver qualify for the Olympics. So, in female, it could be 49.
And you mentioned something earlier about to qualify or be chosen, you have to be in the top 20.
No, that's different.
Ranked in the U.S. That's how U.S. does it.
No, what I was saying there is that if you had someone in the top 5, World Taekwondo says you can only switch them out for somebody else who's been in the top 20.
Okay.
Yeah. So, for example,
USA says that.
no, that's World Taekwondo.
World Taekwondo. Those are World Taekwondo rules.
And USAT follows it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they don't want, countries to say, oh, we don't like our top 5 athletes, so we're going to pick number 237 to go instead. No, you can't do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, that's the Continental Tournament. And then I think you asked me how you get to go to the fight-off. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the fight, there's not going to be a fight-off with CJ because we don't have another athlete in that weight class in the top 20, correct?
In Olympic
okay.
rankings, yes.
So let's say weight class. So let's look at plus 80. We have in the top, our highest ranked heavyweight is Jonathan Healy, correct?
Right. He's number 12.
He's number 12.
At year end, he'll be number 12.
But he's not number 5, so he's not a shoe-in.
He is not. So they could select men's plus 80. And then, let's say they did, then the people who could go to the fight-off
in plus 80.
In plus 80. This actually is going to apply to any weight category. So the way you get to go to the fight-off, if your division is picked to be in the fight-off, so this applies to 1 male and 2 female divisions, you have to be ranked in the top 32 sometime during 2023 in World Taekwondo Olympic points.
Okay.
Top 32. And there are Olympic points, and there are several U.S. athletes in each division that did that, with the exception of men's heavyweight, where only one is, and that's Jonathan Healy. Alternatively, another criteria is if you win a gold or silver at a G4 or higher event,
like a Grand Prix,
like a Grand Prix, WT Grand Prix, or Pan American Games, gold or silver, or World Championships. CJ won a silver at World Championships. This year, this is just 2023. We're not talking about 2022. 2023 only. Or at the Grand Prix final, where, lo and behold, Faith Dillon won silver.
Yes, she did.
That's the best result by a female in the United States this year. Anyway, or you beat somebody in the top 5, which is just better than the top 10.
Top 5 what?
Top 5 world ranking.
Okay.
Sorry, Olympic ranking. So that actually happened a few times this year. Faith achieved that. Christina Teachout achieved that. CJ achieved it several times.
Well, so did Anna Zolotich. And so
she beat a top 10.
Oh, top 10. Okay.
Yeah. So I believe it's just Faith.
Wasn't it, didn't Michaela Greenwood beat her?
Yes, and Michaela Greenwood.
Michaela Greenwood.
Also in 57. People forget that she's in 57 because she's been competing in 62. But she has qualified in F57 if 57 is chosen as a division.
Yeah, it could be Michaela and Faith.
And actually,
and even
Anna Zolotich qualifies.
If she can make weight.
Because she's been in the top 32 all year long.
Yeah, because of her points from 2020.
Yeah, from in the past. Because she's been drifting down because her points have been going away.
But she's,
in January, I think she's going to be actually in December, she's like 20th. And it'll slip a little bit more.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's been in the top 32 all year, as has Michaela and Faith. So yeah. So, and then there's a committee that met today of 6 people, and they are considering these things, plus which divisions they think are vulnerable for our athletes to qualify at the Continental Qualification Tournament. And then, if they get to go to the Olympics, could they win a medal at the Olympics? Because that's what this is all about. USA wants medals. They don't particularly care who gets it. We want medals, especially gold. We want gold, silver, bronze medals at the Olympics. How do we get that? So that's what they're talking about today.
Okay, so we covered that. So here's another question.
Yep.
Why limit the number of athletes?
Oh, okay. Well,
and who limits the number of athletes?
World Taekwondo
World WT
limits the number of athletes.
Okay, and so USAT follows that rule.
Yes,
okay.
And you can have a maximum of 1 athlete per weight division. So somebody could actually qualify 8 athletes, but the only way you do that is if you've qualified in a top 5 Olympic ranked athlete in every weight division.
Weight class.
Nobody's done that. This year, in fact, there's only one country, I think, who's going to qualify 3 women.
China.
Turkey. In 49 and 57 and heavyweights plus 67. They have got a top 5 Olympic ranked athlete in all 3 of those. I think they're the only country, not even Korea this year. Korea just got edged out. Korea qualified men in 58 and 80. Jeonwoo Seo qualified, but their guy in 68 got bumped from 5th to 6th. Just barely. So they're only sending 2 men.
Okay, but I try to keep you on track here, answering the questions. We don't want a long video.
Yeah.
And I know you're very
also,
knowledgeable.
But the main reason they don't want more than
8
and no more than 2, unless you're in the top 5, is they don't want countries like Korea or Iran or sometimes even Great Britain to be dominating how many athletes they get there.
You were telling me earlier today that there's like a loophole with the Grand Slam or something like that, that somehow a country might be able to get more than 8 if they were top ranked, but then another athlete won the Grand Slam.
You know,
and that there was no rule written anywhere if that happened.
Okay, well, I went and reread the World Taekwondo rules.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And so I misspoke to you earlier.
Okay.
I was wrong. And that is that if someone in the top 5 wins the Grand Slam also, then that just sort of cancels it out and it's the same person. And then they go to number 6 in the world, in the Olympic rankings to get the top 5 in into the Olympics.
Okay.
Okay, so, but what I don't know the answer to is, and this could happen with China, is let's say you've got a number 1 ranked athlete in women's 49, which is Zhongxi Luo of China, who ran away with everything the last 2 years. She's number 1. There's another athlete who could win the Grand, there's actually a couple athletes, Chinese athletes, who could win the Grand Slam. It's not clear what happens then. You'd think that the top 5 athlete would take priority, but as somebody said in our post today that no, the Grand Prix takes priority. And no, the country cannot send 1 of each of those. It's only 1 person.
The Grand Prix or the Grand Slam?
Grand Slam.
You say Grand Prix.
I always, Grand Slam. It's confusing.
It is.
Yeah, so if you win the Grand Slam, you're supposed to get a spot, but in female 49, let's say you're a Chinese athlete and you win the Grand Slam, I don't think you're bumping Zhongxi Luo out of the top 5. So we'll find out because it's not clear to us. 1 athlete maximum per weight division.
You said 49 and Zhongxi Luo is in 57.
I said wrong thing. 57, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Again, going by memory's fallible.
I know, you got too much information going on. We got one last question here. Does the host country, say USA in 2028, get 8 spots? Did we already cover that?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
So, for example, France, does France get 8 people automatically? No.
So that's no.
France this year and United States in 2028 in Los Angeles, you're only guaranteed 4 spots. You're actually guaranteed 4 spots.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah. 2 in each male and female.
Okay.
But not all 8. You have to earn those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder who's got the most spots going to the Olympics in 2024 and it locked in.
Turkey has 5 right now.
They have 5.
I think it's Turkey because they got 2 men as well.
Okay.
They got a man in the lightweight and heavyweight classes.
And we have only 1 locked in.
We've got 1.
1, that's CJ.
Great Britain, used to qualify more athletes, especially in the female category. They used to get 3 in. It was usually Jay Jones, Bianca Cook, and Lauren Williams in 67. But this year, Lauren, you know, has had kind of a bad year, more and more injuries.
Yeah, she had surgery.
She didn't get to the top 5 at all. And also, so there's only going to be 2 British women who automatically qualify. It's Jade, and probably not Bianca Cook. It's Rebecca McGowan, who ended up in 4th. Bianca's like 6th or 7th.
What about Cunningham in men's? He's 4th. He's ranked 4th, isn't he?
Yes, he got in. So there's 2 men too, Bradley Sinden and Caden Cunningham.
And
so
then Bradley,
they qualified 4. Bradley's been injured a lot.
Yeah. So here's my last question. This is just, you know, this is guessing. Who do you think they're going to pick? Are they going to go with 68? Or are they going to go with plus 80 for USA?
Okay.
Which would be Jonathan Healy.
Yeah.
And in 68 it would be Calfani, but I think he's got an injury that he's working on.
I before the
But you know, you never know. People, these guys can recover so quickly.
Before the Grand Prix final that just happened last weekend, I had thought that Jonathan was going to be going, despite Calfani earning his spot, you know, by getting Pan Am gold.
Yeah.
To go to the Grand Prix final, but Calfani apparently got a significant injury, which we're not going to talk about, that requires surgery, and so it's going to be difficult for USAT to select 68 and Calfani when he's injured and didn't get to go to the Grand Prix final even. And Jonathan's higher ranked, has more points, has more of a history, and men's heavyweight, he beat Carlos Sensoris, Olympic number 2 this year, whereas Calfani has not beaten any top 10 athlete. So
it's, you know,
it's probably going to be men's 80, plus 80.
By basically removing and whittling it down, it's probably going to be plus 80.
And I made a post about that, a fairly extensive post about that about a month ago.
Yeah, but there's still like whoopsie happening at the Grand Slam, so we don't, there's a lot of things that could change. Yeah. Do we have any athletes going to?
I'm not aware of anybody going, but if Christina Ticha went and won in 67, there's a chance she could go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even Zolcic. She could.
Even Zolcic in 67. Yeah. Either of them or both of them could go and try to win. Yeah. And there's a chance, even though they didn't go to the first one, you get 1,000 points for winning this one. Plus, if you go to the qualifier, you get another 150 points, I think.
And money.
And money. You could actually get a spot. But I don't think either are going. No U.S. athletes. A bunch of Europeans are going. And including the Team Hancock people. Yeah. Including the Martin sisters. Yeah. They're both hopeful to get spots in both 57 and 67 for Hungary. Yeah. Because they've already got points. They went to the first one.
I think we should send athletes.
Yeah.
That's just me. I'm not a coach. Yeah. So, any other comments before we close?
Points are complicated.
Yeah, if you have any questions, I know we approve questions on the Facebook private site, but if you have questions, like there was a great question today, and so many people are confused, and especially when they change the rules every year, sometimes during the middle of the year, it's just, got to stay on top of the rules, WT and USAT rules, and we've got to keep track of points that you get and the points that are, every year you lose, what, 25%? Yeah. So it's just, I'm sure they have a computer. Right.
And everybody, a lot of athletes who compete seriously in Taekwondo at a young age, cadets and juniors, they want to go to the Olympics. That's their objective.
Yeah, but you got to have proper points. It's very difficult. Proper points. And I know you don't want to be point chasing, but it's about points, people.
Your parents and the athlete and the coaches need to understand and educate themselves.
The system and how it works.
How do you get there?
Yeah.
And it's very difficult. Like one of the most fabulous premier American Taekwondo athletes of the last decade, Cheyenne Lewis, never made it to the Olympics. She won the U.S. Open like 5 or 6 times, national championships a bundle of times in a whole bunch of different weight classes. She lost out to Paige McPherson in one of the fight-offs to go to the Olympics. That's the closest she ever got. And she was a top-ranked world Taekwondo athlete. And just amazing. But that's how difficult it is.
Yeah. So advice for, people that have, say, cadets and juniors right now, should they focus on USAT points first?
Yes.
Or should they just kind of like bypass that and work on like the WT points?
Cadets and juniors really should just focus
on USAT points.
USAT points, right. And you know, it's expensive, but if they have an opportunity for some reason to get to an international G event, especially as a junior, it might be a good experience.
But you won't, it doesn't.
But it's not going to get you
benefit, yeah.
And you're probably going to get slaughtered, unless you're like a phenomenal athlete. Which that's a good indication as to how good you are.
Yeah.
Go to a European G1 or 2 event as a junior and see how you do.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is a lot of questions with AAU. So AAU points are not USAT points. They do not count towards anything.
Another kind of point.
And so USAT is Olympic sanctioned in the United States. So AAU is a great organization. We've done those tournaments, but you know, 4 or 5 years ago, there were tournaments, AAU tournaments, that actually did give the athletes USAT points, and they no longer do that. So, you know, if you're wanting to improve and get points to get to the next level, AAU is great practice, but they do not honor USAT points anymore. So there are 0 points for doing any AAU tournaments. I love AAU. They use KPMP. I think it's, you know, I think it's a great organization. But again, in the game of Olympics, no bueno.
Right. And one final thing that I want to add in is that, and this isn't even points related, is that the cadet and junior and senior fight-offs for the national teams are on January 7th. We talked about the Olympic fight-off on January 5th. On January 7th, 6th and 7th, depending on the age group, are the national team fight-offs. And the way you get to go there as a cadet, junior, or senior is if you won a medal at nationals, the US Open, or the Grand Prix final, the American Grand Prix final, in the United States. Those people are have been invited to the fight-off on January 7th for the national team. And the seniors, if they won a medal at a G event, they're also invited.
So somebody like William Finley, who is doing combat Taekwondo right now, but he won nationals this year in heavyweights plus 80. He could go and do a fight-off.
He could go, if he qualifies, he's on the list to go to men's heavyweight national team fight-off on January 7th. We'll see if he shows up.
I think it'd be great if he did.
See if he could, how he does against Jonathan Healy.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, because he won nationals and he beat a bunch of significant names in the U.S.
Yeah, he's super good.
Yeah. But, and then there's, you know, lots of other athletes that deserve a great chance to be on the national team.
They sure do.
You want to be on the national team, that's your really #1 objective.
Yes.
Get on the cadet, junior, or senior national team.
And into the academy.
And then there's that.
Yes, which is kind of mushed together.
What?
It's kind of mushed together. If you get on the national team, you'll most likely...
You might get invited.
Invited to the academy.
Yeah. There's people in the academy that weren't on the national team.
That is true.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how that works. That's not our business.
No.
Actually, neither is Taekwondo.
It'd be great if USAT actually put out a list and then promoted through social media the people in the academy, but they don't.
We don't.
The only way you find out who's in the academy is when they show up at a G event and it says USA Academy.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I think we're good for now.
We are.
And then we'll do you know, the end of the year, we're going to do a good podcast and cover a lot of the highlights. And,
big achievements.
And have fun.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for everything.
And it's Dawn's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, Dawn.
Points if you guess how old I am.